I'm going to show you how to make this really simple little bird. It's really cute for all sorts of decorations, and you can do different coloured wings, whatever you like. But essentially I start off with a ball of whatever colour it is that you like to work with your bird. Roll it out to a ball, then roll it into more of a sausage. And then just coming in, you kind of taper the end a bit so that you start to get it a little bit thinner, narrower, as you can see I'm doing there. And then very carefully you just kind of start to flatten that out so that the bird, it's starting to have starting to get a breast and sit upright. So you just work with that a little bit. And then the other thing is you start to flatten out the back end, so that will become the back tail. And you really flatten that down quite a bit. So you've got this sort of funny looking shape at the moment. And then you start to sit that up and turn that over so that it starts to become a bird shape. Just smooth it out a little bit because you do work with it quite a bit. Just make sure it looks how you want it, smoothing it out. So now you've got this sort of shape. Now the next thing I usually do is, once I'm happy with the shape, and you might play with it a little bit, you can either flip the tail up if you wanted to, so you just turn it up, or you can leave it down and shape it. And you might want to put some patterns in with a knife or something just to give it a bit of oomph so you can shape your tail. And then once you've got your bird sitting up, then the next thing, just make sure the head's over a bit. The next thing you do is roll out some wings. Now the easiest way to do wings, as you've probably seen by those ones, is just to get a little bit of whatever colour fondant that you'd like to use and do a little heart-shaped wing. Ready to go. So cut 2 wings out depending on which size wing you like. And again, you might like to put a little bit of a pattern in them. So I've just indented with my skewer. You might use a knife, whatever works for you, just to give a little pattern. You can also use any of the textured mats and things like that if you wanted to give something else a bit of a different look. So you've essentially got a little wing like that. Using a tiny dab of water because you don't want to make it too slippery, or else your wing will slide off. You just put a little bit of, just a dab of water on the back of the wing, and just gently decide how you're going to pop it in place, whether you want it down or if you want it up. And once you're happy with the position that you want your wings to be in, attach the other one. So your bird is starting to look a little bit like a bird. Actually, I might put it down a little bit. Quite like the down look. Next thing you need is something for a beak. Now I've got a very similar sort of colour. It's a little bit browner, but I'm going to use that for beak. And I've just pinched off a very tiny little bit. What I'm doing is pinching it and then pushing it, and that becomes very triangular shaped. And then I squish it in, and that becomes good for a beak. Now I sort of think, oh, maybe that's a bit big, so I'll pinch a little bit off, roll it into a ball again, and again I'll just go through that pinching and pushing, seeing if that is happy with that size. And if I am, that looks okay to me. I will attach my beak again with just a tiny dab of water. This is the easiest little bird. Just pop that on the front. And again, you might just play with it till you're happy with it. And there we have pretty much got our little bird. We need to add a few little eyes. Now you can either paint these on with a tiny dab of black food colouring. You can just do what I do, which is just popping a hole in so that it just gives a bit of a shadow and that gives you a bit of an eye. Again, very, very easy. Or you can even roll a tiny ball of black fondant and pop them in. But there we have a really simple, quick little bird. A little bit dusty, but very cute. Voila!